Hello. Well, I've been looking forward to this hour. I really, really have. I hope you're all sitting comfortably with your teas, your coffees, because we've got a fantastic hour ahead. Now, I'm stood next to the most beautiful painting, or a print of a painting here from Thomas Kinkade himself. And this is actually a prize for a competition we've been running on Facebook. We are going to be announcing the winner of the prize, of course, during this hour. But of course, we have got to meet the brother of Thomas Kinkade himself. Pat Kinkade is here in the studio. We're going to ask him all sorts of questions. So let's get on with this hour. I cannot wait for what we've got ahead. We're going to go and meet Pat in a little while. Oh, hello, Pat.
Catherine?
Hello.
Catherine. Is it true what they have told me about you?
I don't know what they told you.
They said that you're a wonderful person and the greatest host ever.
Oh, did they really say that?
No.
No, I didn't think they did. I didn't think they did.
But I felt it in my heart as soon as I saw you. I said, my God.
Every word of it is true.
Well, my intuitions, they're never wrong. No.
I feel I'm sat in. I should be ordering a glass of wine or something.
Well, I got the coming and a pizza as well, so it'll be an interesting show, folks. That's all.
It certainly will. No, actually, it's an honour, actually, to be presenting this show because, of course, the artwork of Thomas Kinkade, who was your brother, of course. We've got some amazing products to show you, some beautiful prints. Tell everyone about Thomas himself, because I'm sure most people out there know exactly who he was, but for anyone that doesn't know, please tell us who Thomas was.
Well, I'm just very excited to be here in the UK. Tom loved coming here to paint, but he is known most for being what's the painter of light.
Yeah.
And what he does is he paints in a luminous style. What that means specifically is that when you isolate the painting, when you put a spotlight on it and you lower the ambient light, the room light, and then you play with the spotlight on it, the internal colors of the painting begin to glow. It's truly a miraculous experience when you first see it. We call it the Kinkade ooh ah, because when you lower it, people go ooh ah, and then immediately they say do it again, and you lower the lights again. It's just an absolutely wonderful, fun thing to do with your paintings. And for Tom, that capacity to show internal light, that glow, was a message for him. He was a man of faith, and for him the internal glow was something that reached the human spirit, and he wanted to, through his paintings, so much to bring peace and happiness and joy to the world. And from all accounts, from all the wonderful collectors that we have in the States and around the world, he has.
He certainly has. In fact, and just to mention as well, if anybody's got any questions for Pat, please do email into the studio.
Or Catherine, because she's interesting, I gotta say. I can't get over the fact.
studio@hochanda.com, and of course we are going live on Facebook as well at the moment, which is fantastic, so leave your comments there as well. Pat, I've got to ask, when did Tom start painting? How old was he?
You know, that's a neat question, because I got to say, my first remembrances of Tom, he was calling himself an artist. My dad made this little coffee table, and Tom sort of usurped it, took it as his own, and he put a towel on it, and he called it his studio. And he put out his crayons, and he put out his watercolors, and he put out all of his little painting supplies, and he said that he was going to be a professional artist. Now, again, I would say, Tom, you're, 8 years old, lighten up. You can come play kickball with me occasionally. But he said, no, I got to practice. I'm an artist. And he just never wavered in that vision for himself. Now, he spent his time in the desert. I mean, it wasn't an easy childhood. We were very poor growing up. And truthfully, even as a young artist, he struggled. He used to deliver pizzas off the back of his motorcycle in order to support himself. Yeah, and it's crazy. And he basically, the food that he got was any leftover pizzas that nobody picked up, and he'd buy a sack of potatoes every month, and he'd cook them all, eat one potato a day in order to survive. He just didn't have the family means to support him. But he had this vision of himself as an artist from day one. And, again, whatever your beliefs are, my personal feeling is that there was a hand of providence in his destiny in life, and he fulfilled that destiny, and that was to bring light to the world through his art.
Oh, well, of course, the paintings from Thomas Kinkade himself, so collectible. There's many collectors out there worldwide, and this is your chance, of course, during this hour, and beyond as well, to of course purchase prints from Thomas himself. We are going to be seeing lots of beautiful prints, but I want to ask Pat, we've got a certain style within the studio today, but it goes much further than that, doesn't it, with Thomas? What sort of style would you say was his favourite? Where did he start? How did he develop?
Oh, that's an interesting question too. You know, we have a vault in the company, and in that vault there's some 7,000 artifacts from Tom's history as an artist, and across that history, he basically dabbled in everything. He painted in abstract, surrealism, impressionism, you name it. He experimented with it. What he eventually lighted on was realism, and he started out as just a fabulous landscape painter, but then that transitioned into romantic realism.
Yeah.
Tom always said, it's not my job to paint what's there. I'm here to paint what should be there. And he wanted to create these little worlds where people could escape. You know, Tom used to call his paintings silent messengers in the home. And you know, when you hang a painting on the wall, you make a commitment to it. You know, a book you read, you love, it's a great book, but you put the book away and you put it back on the shelf. A television show you watch and it makes you smile and you enjoy it and what have you, but eventually that show ends and you can go about your business. But when you hang a painting on the wall, every day, even if you glance at it for a moment, it's going to have an impact on you. It's a situation where this particular form of art becomes so important to the house that it transitions the house into a home.
Yes.
And I remember as a kid, and think back, I mean, you think about the early houses you grew up in. The first thing I think about is, well, I remember the painting here and a painting. My mother used to love Rembrandt, and she had all these little dime store copies of Rembrandt paintings around the house, and Rembrandt was a luminist. He painted on the human face as opposed to the natural landscape, but nonetheless he dabbled in light and shadow in order to create his effect. Well, again, Tom became a luminist. So what that suggests to me is what he said is true, that the art you hang in the home is going to impact you every day in very real ways. And if you hang art that makes you happy, that has themes of romance and family and patriotism and faith and adventure and all those things that make life worthwhile, those are the sorts of things you're going to dwell on.
They certainly are. And I've got to ask you as well, Pat, we know that Thomas Kinkade is so collectible. It's worldwide. It's not just the paintings as well. We've seen items brought out in the craft industry before, in cross-stitch and various other things as well. Lots of different things, jigsaws as well. Why do you think Thomas's work became so collectible?
Well, there's a variety of reasons for it. I mean, one was his intent. I mean, he wanted his art to be accessible. I mean, a lot of people, you know, say, well, Tom has his art on a lot of things, so what does that mean in terms of the art? Well, it means that he's doing his job as an artist. An artist is supposed to communicate. Now, he could paint an original painting, and he could put it in a museum someplace, and museums have his work. And that's wonderful. The people that get access to that museum and visit it, maybe a few 100,000 people a year get to see his painting. But Tom, through a single publication, can reach millions of people.
Of course.
And that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to have a cultural, social impact that went beyond simple museum availability. So part of it was just the intent of getting the art out there. But beyond that, it resonates with people. It truly does.
I think that is the point.
We live in chaotic lives. We all do. I mean, I walk outside the store and I'm going to be bombarded with the news. And the news is going to be, you know, good or bad or whatever, but it's always going to be chaos. There's things going on and, you know, things to worry about and so on and so forth. You don't need that all the time.
You certainly don't.
What Tom wanted to do is create little vacations that you could hang on the wall. That you could step back for a moment and, you know, the idea of just exhaling. Even if it's just for a minute each day, you walk in front of your Kinkade painting, and I swear, we get letters all the time. It's going to make your good times better, and it's going to make your bad times good. And that's just the truth. It's just the truth.
I could sit and chat to you for hours and hours and hours.
Well, we're going to get a beer later and do that.
We need. I've got lots of questions to ask you. But now we've got to look, of course, at the paintings, or the prints of the paintings, of course, from Thomas Kinkade. We've got so much to show you in this hour as well. We've got lots more questions to ask as well. But just take a look at this. Oh, I really could just keep chatting, honestly. Now then, I've got to ask you, Pat, about this. Now, this is, of course, a beautiful print from one of Thomas's pieces of work. This is actually going to be the giveaway to our competition. We will announce the winner later on. Now, the name of this is Stepping Stone Cottage.
Stepping Stone Cottage, yeah, absolutely. Just a beautiful piece that Tom painted in metaphor. And for him, we all have obstacles in life. Yeah. We do. And the question becomes, well, how do we get through those obstacles? Well, if you notice in this little river, the obstacle, they're stepping stones. That's the name of the piece, Stepping Stone Cottage. What those stepping stones represent is you being able to overcome challenges. A step at a time. Yes. We can all those things that we're talking about, the chaos that we face, whatever it is, financial troubles, family troubles, we all have them in life. We just do. It's the nature of life. But Tom's vision was that with steadfastness, with one step at a time, you'll be able to cross those obstacles. And that's the message of this painting. Yes. So it's beyond the beautiful aesthetic. I mean, I love my brother's work. I really do. I have it all over my home. And the flowers are beautiful. The luminous effect is absolutely wonderful. Again, I keep getting back to that, but folks, get this home, put it on the wall, and if you spotlight it, it's going to blow your mind, the changes that you see in terms of just the simple aesthetic of the piece. But more important in certain ways is the message of the painting. And this message is the idea that you can overcome obstacles in life.
I love that. I really, really do. Well, isn't this beautiful? It's absolutely incredible. Would you make a suggestion to everybody then, if they're purchasing from the show today, to try and create that spotlight effect in their home? If they can get a light fixed above the picture, if they choose carefully where they're going to put the picture, it needs to be in the right place.
I love it when folks do that because they really get to play with the paintings. I guarantee ladies, your husbands are going to get tied to this painting, especially because there's a lot of dimmers on remotes now, so you can sit on the couch and have it go up and down. But I also want to say that this art fits anywhere. Yes. It really does. And the natural light of the room will go up and down with the course of a day.
Very true.
And even with that ambient light going up and down, you're going to see changes in mood in the painting. So the spotlight really accentuates it. It's a lot of fun if you can get that done. But if you can't, don't worry about it because you're going to enjoy it anyway. The lighting of the room, the night and day that you'll experience of artificial light to natural light will change the feel, will change the glow of this painting. It's going to surprise you. I know it's hard to believe. People say, well, there's something gimmicky about it. Is there fluorescent light in it? No. Tom just understood juxtaposing colors. He understood overlaying oil, and that saturates visible light in certain ways. More than a physicist, he understood. I mean, I used to sit in the studio with Tom and say, Tom, how do you do this? I don't quite get it. And he would explain the physics of light to me. But ultimately, it came down to the Keebler elves. I mean, they just came in and they'd put fairy dust all over them and magic occurred. As far as I'm concerned, at least.
I need to ask questions about how this light is created a little bit later on, but I want to ask something else as well, Pat. There are hidden details in the paintings. One of them being the letter N. Can you tell us about that? Why that's there and what that represents?
That's a lot of fun. For Kinkade collectors, this has become an absolute fixation and fascination for them. Tom's wife is named Nanette. Okay. And they were childhood sweethearts. It's just the perfect story of romance. And they found each other. They never left each other's sides. And Tom recognized that Nanette had as much to do with building the painter of light and having people have access to these paintings as he did. Now, he is going to be remembered because of his position in art history and so on and so forth. But for Tom, it was so important that people recognize the relationship, that Nanette was there anchoring him and helping him in every way possible in order to have this worldwide audience, this worldwide effect that he had. So for Tom, hiding ends in the painting is a tribute to Nanette's contribution to his life as a painter. And what's fun and what absolutely drives collectors crazy is they look.
We're just looking.
You start looking for ends.
We've found the N in this picture. Do you know, that's part of the fun of it as well, isn't it? Not only can you be, holding one of these in your own home, collecting these items. Of course, you've got the fun of looking for these as well. Now, there is another one, I believe, in this particular painting.
Yeah, if you go by the oil signature, there's a little number, and that number tells you how many ends are in any given painting.
Right, there it is. There's another one there.
Look, on the roof.
On the roof. That is so clever.
It's fun, and there's a very practical point for Tom too. Tom wanted people to engage and re-engage in his art. Yeah. So I mean, outside of being pretty, but eventually you just sort of you have a tendency to become complacent about things. But these little details allow people to look and scan, and it causes them to because they become obsessive. I get letters from people saying, Pat, you should write the big book of ends and go through every painting and show where every end is. And it's like, if I did that, I put a bullet in my head, because basically it's a hard thing to find the ends. But you'll become obsessed with your painting and your ends, and you'll keep on looking and looking and looking.
You really will. I've been scouring that and look and see if I can
he also
find
did a lot of
more.
other things. Sometimes you look in the clouds of his painting, you see animals there, or you look in the trees or in the water, there'll be references to one thing or another. He just had a lot of fun with it. I'll tell you one that absolutely makes me laugh. He painted a painting of the of Big Bend of the Thames, the river. And he put a periscope coming down the well, submarines didn't go up and down the river, but Tom, you don't recognize it, but being an artist is a relatively lonely profession. You sit in your studio a lot. So Tom did things to amuse himself. So sometimes he just hid these oddities in his painting just to make himself laugh. But ultimately, as a collector, you'll enjoy finding them, and it'll make you laugh too.
Of course, of course. And of course, with every print that is purchased, you do get the certificate of authenticity. You can see this one on the back of this frame here as well. And a little bit of wording about the painting as well, the name of the painting,
Artist
of
notes,
course, the artist number, yes. Beautiful certificate there as well. I mean, you need that, don't you? Because
absolutely.
if it's a collector's item, if it's something so important as Thomas Kinkade,
it is.
You need to know
Folks,
it is from that original artwork.
I can't tell you how many times we've heard these very sad stories of people being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
You know, that there's a lot of people that do knockoff versions and, so on and so forth. And you go on the web and you sometimes find these things, oh, it's a great deal. No, it's not a great deal. What it is not Thomas Kinkade. With that certificate, through this venue, you're getting not only Thomas Kinkade content, but Thomas Kinkade quality. This is heirloom quality art. You're going to be able to hang this in your house. And like I said, as kids growing up, you remember the art in your home. Well, you'll be able to pass this to your children.
Definitely.
Your children will be able to pass it to their children.
Definitely.
You're creating a family tradition. It goes beyond simply having a piece of art to hang. What you have is a family focus. All of you are going to enjoy it. All of you will talk about it. All of you will look for the ends or find little discoveries or notice the light changing and having the effect of the glow go up and down in the painting. It's just fun.
Oh, wow.
And that certificate, suggests that you'll have that across time.
Of course. Well, if you would like Stepping Stone Cottage, that's the one that you're seeing right here, of course. It's the print with the frame that's in it, which is so elegant as well. There you can see the details on the screen. Item number 986792. Now you have, of course, got, it's a 9 by 12 inch print, this one, of course, in that beautiful frame. And I've got to say, you can see the mount there as well. You've got that linen effect going around there as well. You've got the certificate on the back there as well. The saving on this particular print is £280. Now we can offer a flexi-buy option for you as well. So let's just have a look at the flexi-buy details again. 2 payments of £92.50. This is your opportunity, of course, to obtain a piece of art that is going to be passed down the family. As we say, it's going to be an heirloom piece. It's going to be a talking piece. It's been very carefully reproduced on cotton fibre fabric there on the canvas itself. I've got so many questions I want to ask Pat as well about the painting and the techniques as well, but just look at that painting. It's absolutely beautiful. It really, really is. And the mood that you've seen there on the picture itself, we've spoken about how the mood will change with the lighting. You can see how the water captures the light. You can see the beautiful light in the trees from the cottage itself, the lighting coming from the windows. It's just incredible. Of course, Thomas Kinkade, known as the painter of light himself. Now we've got more to show you as well, because we've got Make-A-Wish canvas next.
Make-A-Wish.
Now I can tell you this one's already busy. Already busy. As I walked into the studio and saw the different paintings around the studio, each and every one blows you away. But we've just seen here on screen, Pat, there. Look at the path. You can see.
Oh, it's magic.
It's as though it's just been raining
really
there. You can see the gleam there of the water on the path. Look at the warmth of the lights in the windows there.
It's so important. One of the things that Tom loved to do, and you'll notice it in all of his cottages, that all the lights are on.
Yeah.
When we were kids growing up, sadly, our parents divorced, and my mother was a single parent and had to raise us, but we always came home to an empty house and darkened windows, and that affected Tom. So Tom paints the lights on in every cottage that he creates. And there's always smoke coming out of the chimney as well. Now, what does that suggest? It suggests a couple things. It suggests that there are people there waiting, that somebody's waiting for your embrace and wants to give you a hug when you walk through the door. Again, it's this idea of family and home hearth that's so important. It's also, quite frankly, in these beautiful little cottages, and I understand that you live in one.
I do live in a cottage. I've got to say, it's very pretty, but not quite as pretty as the one we're looking at here. I'd love to think when I get home, my lights will be glowing like that as well, but they won't be because there's nobody else in there.
Oh, well, for Tom, what these cottages represented was the opportunity for romance. He loved coming to England. He loved coming to England and paint. And he and Nanette would rent these little cottages up in the Cotswolds. And he would stay there for a month or a couple months and just paint plein air, open air paintings to his heart's desire. He'd take all of that source material home and he would come up with these beautiful studio works that you see here.
Oh, wow. Well, I can tell you everyone is loving this one. We're approaching a quarter of the stock gone on this particular one. You can see the details there on the screen. Again, we can offer you a saving and a flexi-buy option. You're saving £10 on this one. Two payments of £30. I'm looking at that path again there, Pat. I can't get over it.
Even in the studio lights through the TV, you can see the glow that we're talking about. That path looks wet.
It does.
It really does.
Really,
the
really
shimmering
does.
of the light is just absolutely profound in relation to it. And I love the idea of the little wishing well, too. I mean, for Tom, he had 4 little girls, and for a father, they always had wishes to make. So he painted this so they could make wishes into that little well. And you know, what is a wish but a prayer that, you know, you have for your heart? And he loved the idea of being able to provide that to his little girls.
Oh, how wonderful. I just spotted the N on the path there as well. I wonder how many more we can spot as we're looking at this one. Do you know,
you're becoming fascinated with the N's.
I am. I'm just
Eventually you're going to have to be medicated for it because you're going to wake up at night and start looking at these things as well.
Oh, no, is that one on the top of the well there? Right at the top, is that an N?
Could be, yeah.
A really subtle one.
And folks, don't be surprised. He'll hide them in trees. The limbs will create ends. Just everything you can think of he used to create it. The record is that for one painting was 168 hidden ends in it. Most of them have between 2 and 20, but he went crazy on that one for one reason or another.
Oh, wow. Oh, you're going to absolutely love these. When these arrive in your home, put them in a pride of place. Do choose carefully where you put them, of course. Now, the one we're looking at the moment, very busy on this one. It is a canvas wrap, so the frame isn't included in this. You could get this framed if you like, but I think as it looks there, it works beautifully just as it is.
That's exactly right.
It certainly does. You've got every bit of detail you could ever wish for in a painting. That's the glory
of the canvas wrap presentation. There's an internal frame on it. Yes, you can frame it if you want, but you don't need to frame it. As a matter of fact, for a lot of contemporary designers, they don't want the frames. They want people to focus on the art. So the internal frames are, you get this out of the box, you can put it directly on the wall, and it looks absolutely beautiful. You can frame it if you want, but there's absolutely no need for it. This is a very, very good entryway to get involved with the world of Kinkade art.
Fabulous. Oh, just get it straight on the wall and then start looking for those ends as well. And you know, you're going to be drawn into the cottage itself. It's as though you just want to walk in there, straight into the door and sit in that cosy room. It really, really is incredible, isn't it? But we've got more to show you as well. We are very busy on that particular one, but we've still got more to show you as well.
Oh, but wait, there's more.
There is more. There is more. Now, don't forget, on the one that we've just been looking at there, you can still see it on the screen, Make-A-Wish canvas wrap. You are saving that £10. 2 payments of £30 if you want to take flexi-buy option there. 002855. We are busy on that one. Now the next one, we're also busy on this one as well. Now this is the first one that caught my eye as I walked into the studio because it was the one in front of me, but again it was, Pat, I've got to say, the light, again, just look at the windows here. Look at the light in front of the cabin there as well. And the chair, you know, the seat, the little seat there.
Yeah. So many little details to discover in this particular piece. It's the little dogs, the little Adirondack chair, the little teapot. Nanette was a collector of teapots. Whenever you see a teapot in there, that's Tom pretending that Nanette was sitting in the Adirondack chair, possibly with him rowing around in the boat and fishing a little bit. I love this particular piece, Peaceful Retreat. The idea of cabins in the wood, to me, it's very, very soul cleansing. You know, Tom used to talk about seeing the face of God in a mountain vista, hearing his voice in the rustle of leaves. You experience him in terms of the breath of the wind. All of that serenity, all of that joy, all of that sense of purpose is captured in this piece. you look at the mountain vista, and again, you look at the depth of field there. You got the mist in the midground there that really pulls it apart. And look at the glow of the light.
It's just incredible.
It's absolutely incredible. It really is. But you get that sense of wonderment of man's place in nature. You know, that's where Tom was most at home, rambling around in these beautiful mountains. We were raised in a little town called Placerville in California in the Sierra Nevada mountains. And as kids, Miss Evie, you look at the back of the boat there, I'm looking at this thing. Everett is his third daughter. So again, just little tributes here and there to him. But we grew up in this mountain scene. So all of this to Tom is very, very familiar and very, very friendly, but ultimately uplifting. And again, hanging one of these paintings in the home, every time you see it, that sense of uplift. I swear, folks, I got no horse in this race, and the sense that I just want everybody to be happy. I really do. But you bring one of these home, it's going to be transformative. It really is going to affect you in ways. When you see it, you're going to smile every day you do, and if you smile every day when you see it, it's going to make your day a little bit brighter. It
certainly is. Do you know, we were talking about this at the start of the show, Pat. You were saying about, you know, Thomas just wants everybody to be caught up in the romance of his pictures. You know, you're telling the story about where you grew up as children, you know, the surroundings that you were in. And I'm finding myself listening to you and looking at the picture on the screen there as well. And I am physically, in my head, I am there. I'm doing the painting. I wish I was, but you know, that's where it's taking me. So I totally understand what you're saying there. Really, you know, to have something like this on your wall, and as you say, just even if it's just a glance every day, take that vacation. I loved that phrase you used. I thought it was very, very clever. I can see exactly what you mean. Now we've spotted another end there as well. If you look on the chimney, there it is. Can you see
there you go.
There it
that's
is.
Another end. You're going to become the queen of ends, the British queen of ends.
Something else I've got to mention, like the plume of smoke. Just look at that. It looks so realistic. It looks as though, you know, that you're just looking at that cabin there with the plume of smoke just coming from the chimney there as well.
It really is. And it suggests that there's a hearth burning and somebody's waiting for you there.
Of course.
And I just absolutely love that. You know, the other thing I love about this particular presentation is the size. Because not only can you hang it on the wall, if you get two of them, it'll carry a full wall, you know, like a major piece would. But it's small enough so this could be an accent piece. And those odd little nooks and crannies that you have in your house, you don't know what to decorate, this will fit. Or if you have a bookshelf, you can get a little easel and you put it on a bookshelf, or you put it on a mantle with a little easel. There's lots of ways to use this in your home decor. You know, again, people collect, and they have the record in the States is 495 pieces, limited edition, that one individual owns in relations. And they just find new ways to use them because of the size and the different ways that we present.
Of course. Well, this one, a great size, coming to size, because 14 inches by 14 inches. Again, it's a wrap, so you've got that canvas wrap there. That's all you need. You don't have to put a frame around this. It looks beautiful just as it is. Details on the screen there for you. 807564 is the item number. And again, a saving of £10 on this one, and FlexiBuy, 2 payments of £30 once again on this one. Don't forget, each one of the prints does carry that certificate of authenticity there as well. You know that this is the genuine item. It is very, very important. As we've mentioned earlier, there are copies out there. You don't want that. This is going to be something that you are going to treat and use as an heirloom, pass it through the family. It's going to be a talking point. It really, really is. Do you know, I'm just thinking, where would I hang? If I just had the one, where would I hang it? And I would have to, I think, as I come out of my bedroom in the morning and I walk down my stairs, there's an alcove next to my fireplace that straight away, that's what is in my view. That's where I would hang my first painting, I think, because it would make me smile every morning as I walk downstairs. I mean,
some place that you see every day is a good place to start. Or if you have a place, a little meditation alcove where you go and just sort of, you know, relax and take your deep breath, you know, that's a good place to hang it too. But folks, all through the house, this particular size and these particular pieces, you're going to find places for them. It really will become part of the family.
Certainly will. Well, we're looking again at the detail that you can see on these prints here. Absolutely stunning. Do you know, I really could talk to Pat all day long. I just think, you know, the story behind the family, of course, there's Pat, there's Thomas. I will ask about other family members as well. We've mentioned Thomas's daughters as well, featured, or some of the homes, I think, are featured in some of the paintings as well. So I need to find out about those, but we're looking at some beautiful, beautiful artwork here. If you could just hold one piece in your home, just one piece, you've got some beauties to choose from here, and yes, you are going to treasure them. You really are. yes, there is so many questions now I've got in my head I want to answer, but I don't think I'm going to do it all in an hour. But the next item we're going to talk about is this one. This is Everett's Cottage. Well, I think there is a story behind this one, isn't there? Would this be the name of a cottage of one of Thomas's daughters?
Absolutely. Tom had 4 daughters. I had 3 sons.
4 daughters,
Yeah.
ah.
So God has a sense of humor, clearly. Poor Tom would call me and say, Pat, I don't understand. I was like, brother, I got 3 boys. You know, I throw some kibble on the ground and let them fight for it, and that's pretty much my job as a parent. And it's
Oh, dear.
But at any rate, he had 4 beautiful daughters, truly wonderful women, each and every one of them. And Everett's is his youngest. And there was Everett's Cottage, Windsor's Cottage, Merritt's Cottage, and Chandler's Cottage.
Oh.
And each girl had their own cottage, and he painted the originals and he put them in the room at their christening. And it's just an absolutely beautiful tribute to his daughter. And this one is for his youngest, Everett, and just an absolutely glorious example of Tom's mastery of light. I love the dappling coming down the path of the light coming through the trees. Again, the ripples of the water reflected so nicely. And of course, the internal lights of the cottage are on. A beautiful tribute to a beautiful daughter, and just, to me, classic Kinkade.
It certainly is. Do you know, you mentioned there the first thing I was going to speak about the light, and that's the dappling, as you say, as you come down the path. You can see, so you've got those little gaps there in the shrubbery or the flowers or the trees at the side there, and the light is just creeping through there and illuminating the pathway. Yes, then you're drawn to those windows, aren't you? Each and every one of them has got that warmth, that glow there as well. But look at the water. You can see that little bit of a waterfall there. And again, how the light's catching the water. Just beautiful.
We always talk about the luminous effect, but again, the other part of luminosity is the idea of depth of field. It draws a flat plane into dimension. And that waterfall does that so well. You hang this on the wall, and again, you start playing with the lights on it. It's almost going to seem like you can put your hand into these things. It's that profound in terms of the effect. Depth of field and luminosity together provide a magic experience in terms of looking at the art. I also love the idea of the light post.
Yeah.
Again, Tom painted a metaphor. We talked about the stepping stones. Well, a light post is a beacon. It basically suggests you have safe harbor here.
Yes.
And everybody needs those safe harbors. Everybody needs a place to go, a place to be, where you can step away from the chaos of life. That is an absolutely wonderful example of those sorts of messages. This is a light beacon bringing you into a home situation where someone's waiting for you with open arms.
Oh, it truly is beautiful. Now, this option again is including the frame that you're seeing here as well, which is, I've got to say, just works so beautifully with the print itself. It's absolutely gorgeous. I think for me, this is my favourite so far.
It's just gorgeous. And the framing is so well done. I mean, Tom had very particular tastes, and we try to match those tastes in relation to the particular piece of art, so you're getting a frame that would match, to Tom's eye, the particular piece. But you got to understand, this is wood framing, this is cloth lining, the brass plate is engraved. It's very, very profound in terms of the presentation. We call it a museum quality presentation, because it really is. You could spend a lot of money on the frame alone, hundreds of dollars in the States.
You certainly could. That is so, so true. I know myself from my mum used to do a lot of cross stitch, used to get them properly framed, and you know, to go for quite a basic frame, it was an awful lot of money. So for something as elegant as this, and you've got that internal mount there as well, it's just beautiful. Of course, you've got the certificate included, you've got the little brass plaque there as well. It's just that finished item, just seeing it exactly as it is just absolutely gorgeous.
And it's
really
wired on the back too, so when you get it home and you open the box, you can immediately pull it out and you can enjoy it immediately. There's nothing that you have to do in terms of the framing. And of course, that certificate, we keep getting back to it. I mean, I know it seems like a small point, but it really, really isn't. That certificate guarantees that this is Tom's content and the company's quality. This is a piece, again, that you're going to be able to hang on the wall and enjoy, but it's going to be something that'll touch your kids, touch your grandkids, and go on down through the line.
Definitely. Well, if you'd like to go for this one, the details are there for you. Item number 147466. Again, we've got a flexi-buy option. Look at the saving on this one. £280 is the saving. We can split this down over two payments of £92 and 50 pence, of course. There you are, details details on the screen for you. Of course, you can find everything on the website as well, but we do still have more to show you. If you want a piece of work from Thomas Kinkade, if you're thinking, yes, I want to start collecting, or I just want that one piece, something that I can use as an heirloom, something that's going to pass through the family, maybe you're just waiting to see the rest of the items, then they're well worth waiting for. But of course, maybe you've already fallen in love with your piece of art as well. How could you not? I think these are absolutely incredible pieces. They really, really are. Now, we've also got for you the easels that you've seen some of the artwork portrayed on there. We can offer these as well. So if you'd like your own easel, these are from the SAA actually. Now you're saving £17 here, £54.50. You're getting the easel with the bag. It is classed as a sketching easel. This is a metal easel for you there as well. You know, you can adjust this as well. So if you want to do your artwork on there, you can do. If you want to use it for displaying, you can do as well, of course. Item number 509105. Now, something a little bit different, and I've got an idea. This is likely to be a popular item. Now, if you are a Disney fan, look at this, Beauty and the Beast. How on earth did we get to this point?
Isn't it wonderful? Well, my dad used to take Tom and I to Disneyland every year in California. He'd come up, pick us up, be one of his big trips with us. And we fell in love with Disney. Who hasn't fallen in love with Disney? You know, for children in the world, or for children inside us all, Disney has been a cornerstone of all of our lives. Well, Disneyland's 50th anniversary came, and Tom wanted to paint it. And he talked to the folks at Disney, and they graciously allowed it to happen. Tom painted it, and that was immense success. Everybody loved it. When we think about the Kinkade collector and Disney collectors, they're the same folks. There's a lot of crossover in terms of Disney and Kinkade in relation to collectability. Well, after that initial success, what Disney did is graciously open up the vault, literally, to Tom and say, you know what? All of the great Disney classic, all of the films that Disney created, Tom and his studio provided Disney the opportunity for a Kinkade take on those subjects.
Wow.
And here we have Beauty and Beast falling in love. If you're a fan of Kinkade, this is the perfect piece. If you're a fan of Disney, this is the perfect piece. If you have children, this is the perfect piece because they're going to love it. If you have a child inside and you grew up with Disney, this is the perfect piece. Folks, maybe getting the idea, this is the perfect piece. No matter what you collect, this is absolutely going to delight you. It really is.
It certainly is. And as we're looking on screen there again, the warmth, the glow in those windows, you know, just the fact that it's Disney, it doesn't take away from the beautiful light that you see in here, the mood of the image, the print there as well. It's just beautiful. It really, really is. Look at the rainbow as well.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because this is a Kinkade take on Disney. That luminous effect, everything that Tom's known for in terms of his particular style of art is in this painting, in addition to the wonderful Disney storylines and characters and so on. And I love the fact that he tried to include all the characters. You have Lumiere and Cogsworth and Mrs. Potts and Chip, and of course Beauty and the Beast. And this is another thing that is a lot of fun. In some of Tom's Disney pieces, other characters were hidden.
Yeah.
Characters that didn't belong in the film, but for Tom, or for the Kinkade Studios, was fun to place into the given piece. So again, this is an opportunity for exploration. Another thing that often happened in these paintings were mouse ears were hidden as opposed to the end.
Wow.
So again, I'm not going to spoil the fun and point things out, but having said that, bring this home and I guarantee you, yourself and your kids are going to go nuts looking for mouse ears and looking for the little characters hidden in these pieces. It's just a lot of fun, folks. And I always say this, I mean it sincerely, if you're grandparents and you have grandkids that come over and they're going to stay at one of the rooms in your house, decorate that room with these Disney pieces. It will make it a treat for those kids to come over. They'll want to come to play with the paintings, to look at the glow, to find the hidden characters. It's just a meaningful focal point for family discussion.
It certainly is. Isn't it stunning? It really is. 667769 is the item number for this one. Again, it's one of the wraps for you. You've got that beautiful canvas wrap there. 14 inches by 14 inches, a £10 saving on this one as well. And that flexi-buy option, once again, 2 payments of £30. Oh, whether you're a collector of Kinkade, as we've said, whether you're a collector of Disney, then of course this is for you, isn't it? We have still got more to show you, by the way, but I think everybody's fallen in love so far with everything we've seen.
But wait,
absolutely
there's more.
Everything. There is more. There is more.
We can't stop ourselves. We're out of control here. Somebody,
we needed
help me.
more than an hour. How come we've only got 1 hour for this show? That's what I want to know. They are
Catherine's holding me captive.
There's one question I'm absolutely dying to ask as well. It's about the light. It's about the light, and I've got to ask, Pat. I mean, you paint as well.
A little bit, I sure do.
You paint. In fact, you told me a wonderful story before we went live to it. Can we just tell? Because it is quite a quick one, but I thought this was brilliant.
Well, very early on in life, Tom and I entered the same art contest. And as it happens, I won. So I never let him forget it. I'd always call him every night and say, hey, Tom, did you win that art contest? You know, I can practice and get better, but you can't change history, brother. So, sorry. You know, I had nothing left to prove, so I just sort of dropped the mic. You know, that's why I gave it up. That's why I gave it up.
Oh, that's incredible. Now, we have got more to show. Oh, that question I was going to ask actually was about the light. Now, just going back a little bit with Thomas, when he first started painting as a child, you said he'd have the table there with the towel on it and his crayons out, watercolours. How many different mediums as an adult would he work with? When he really was in this in a big way, and these incredible paintings were materialising.
It's a good question. It's an important question. You know, first and foremost, what Tom was an artist, and an artist lives a life of creativity. Yeah. And everything you can imagine as a medium, Tom was into. People don't realize this, but Tom sculpted. People don't realize this, but he was a watercolorist. Brilliant. People don't realize he's a sketch artist. He painted in a variety of different styles in oil as well. Beyond that, he was an inventor. His studio was filled with contraptions that he made. It was like, there's that book, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, with a crazy inventor that made all these. Yeah, it was that sort of experience. His easel could move up and down with counterweights and all these crazy gears, sort of a steampunk thing. He just had a creative mind and was constantly doing new things and trying new things in order to entertain himself.
Oh, wow. You know, it's fascinating. It really, really is. Let's have a look at this one before I ask another question, because I have got another one I need to ask. Let's have a look at, we've got Snow White here. Now, this is the cottage I want to live in.
Snow White discovers
Snow White's cottage. Look at that.
I love it. I'm going to warn you. People always say, it's Snow White's there, but where are the dwarves? Well, if you look at the cottage, if you can go into the cottage and look along the front of it, you're going to see 7 little pickaxes there.
Oh,
so
look.
The dwarves are all inside.
There we've got 4.
And there's some on the other side as well. They're there. You'll find them.
There we are. There we are. So we don't see any hidden dwarfs anywhere. We can't.
There's no hidden dwarves. Well, they're peeking out the window at you, actually.
I love that idea.
Or if you get one, I'll paint one in for you, so you'll have your own.
There's no poisonous apple anywhere in there, is there?
No, there's not. It's interesting when Tom was painting this series of paintings. The first painting, Snow White Discovers the Cottage, this was it. He took basically a single scene from a piece and tried to capture it. After this piece, he shifted. He created what he was calling epic narratives, where he tried to capture the entire film on a single canvas.
There's an N.
There's an N.
There's an N.
You can't get away from it, but it's just a beautiful, beautiful representation of that very monumental film, Snow White. And I adore this piece. You know, it's just pure Kinkade again. The luminosity, the river, the little bridge. We talked about the idea of bridges being a metaphor for overcoming obstacles in life, so he put all of that in there, that sort of messaging. The lights are on in the home, somebody's waiting.
Yes.
It's the dwarves waiting for Snow White to come. All of those wonderful garden florals that Tom is so known for. You know, Tom was a gardener himself.
Was he?
Oh, yeah. He lived in a little town in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and a lot of sea breezes and mists, so flowers would grow. So he would, around his studio, Ivy Gate Studio, he would be out and about planting flowers around his little benches where he would take an afternoon breather from painting, that sort of thing. And he just loved nature. He really did. That's where he felt for himself most attuned to everything.
I think you can see that throughout the paintings as well, can't you? Well, let's have another look at this one because, of course, details there for you. It's a canvas wrap for you again. Absolutely beautiful, just as it is. You don't need to do anything other than hang it in the prime of place on your wall, of course. You're going to get the certificate included as well. With every one of the paintings, every one of the wraps, of course, you're going to get that certificate of authenticity. And, of course, you've got a saving on this one as well. £10 saving, that flexi-buy option, 2 payments of £30 here. Oh, is it Beauty and the Beast or is it Snow White? You've got the choice, haven't you? 466764 is the item number for Snow White. You know, if you can't choose, we've got that flexi-buy. If you can afford to go for both of them, you certainly can do.
I'm telling you, for the grandkids, do it for the grandkids.
Yeah. I think you need to balance things, don't you, as well? You need to balance
Absolutely.
out. So one on one wall, one on the other, one on either side of an alcove.
Yeah, a cottage
like
for
that.
you, the Disney pieces for your kids.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Now we've got another item to show you. This is the final item to show you today, and it's just as beautiful, isn't it? Now look at this. Look at the lighting on this one.
I love it. Absolutely.
Wow.
Twilight Cottage. The thing that's really going to stand out on this when you, again, lower those lights or you place this in the home is that twilight sky. It's just so beautiful. And twilight to me is a very peaceful time, a very restful time. It's when things are sort of calming down and the day is coming to an end. And it allows you to have that sense and that feel. And again, you have the bridge, you have the little lit pathway beckoning someone to come home, to open heart and open hearth and open arms in the little cottage. I love the smoke coming out of the chimneys. And again, lower the lights on this. The foreground's going to pop out. The water reflections are going to be very, very real. You can almost hear the water running. All of the smoke, and then going into the background when you see the stars twinkling, it's all there.
It certainly is. There's something very, very magical about this one, I think. There you go, details on the screen for this one. 535643 is the item number. Again, it's 14 inches by 14 inches. Do you know, the more I look at it, the more I'm seeing the lights coming to life. It's glowing more and more to me. It's so magical. Saving of £10, 2 payments of £30 once again on this one. Just look at that, absolutely incredible. There's that certificate for you as well, included as just a reminder on all of the prints, of course, that you're purchasing. So you know these are the real deal. 535643 for this one, Thomas Kinkade. That's the Twilight Cottage wrap. Absolutely stunning, isn't it? You know, I'm just kind of looking at the cottage then thinking, well, who do I think would live in there? Would it be a family? Would it be someone that's on their own? It just looks a very warm and comforting place to live, doesn't it? Those lights are on. I love everything that Pat's been telling us about the story of Thomas and the family, of course, and, you know, the history behind everything and where it all began. And you really can conjure yourself into that environment yourself. That's what I think is very, very special. There we are. Oh, the more I look at these, the more I fall in love with them. I'm sure it's the same for you at home as well. Now, one of the most popular options today we can tell you about is Stepping Stone Cottage. Now, I personally, why do I think everybody loves this one so much? Well, how could you not? Just look at it for a start. But I love the story behind this. I love the story of the stepping stones. Take things one step at a time. We all have, as Pat said, we all have our, you know, we come against those things, don't we? Not everything in life runs so smoothly, does it? We come up against those certain things, whether it's financial, whether it's personal, obstacles that we need to get over, and you need to take your time and take those stepping stones. And I think just looking at that beautiful picture there, seeing the glow, seeing the light there, seeing the warmth, there is something about it, there's some serenity in that picture. It's absolutely beautiful. Well, this one here, you can see in the yellow box there, £280 is a saving on this particular one. You are getting the frame with it as well. This is one of those with the frame included. So ready to take straight out of the box and hang on the wall, of course. It's already got the wire there. Of course, you've got the certificate included. The frame is absolutely beautiful. And I think the darkness of the frame as well, it really does set those colours off to their absolute best, doesn't it? Now there, oh, now then, I've got a bit of news for you on this one. We've just gone limited stock on this particular item. We can give you that flexi-buy option as well. You've got 2 payments of £92.50. Item number 986792. I can tell you, I'm studying, I know my mum, I don't know if she's watching, but mum, if you are, try and get a message to me and tell me which one is your favourite, please, because I'm thinking of a little gift. I'm just trying to think which one would my mum be drawn to most. She loves anything like this. She knows exactly who Thomas Kinkade is. And I'm sure everybody at home is thinking, do you know, this is a personal gift, this is an heirloom, this is something special. It really, really is. Limited stock on this one. Now, something else to tell you about, we did mention at the start of the show, we have a Facebook giveaway for you as well. We can announce the winner. Sit down, Paul Morgan, it's you. You have won this. This is yours. This is yours to keep. Stepping Stone Cottage. This particular item that you're seeing here, the one we've got in this jewellery, this is going to be making its way to you, Paul Morgan. You must be absolutely over the moon. Please let us know that you're watching. If you, I really do hope you're watching. I'm sure you are. But do let us know. Oh, just incredible. Well, we're getting close to the end of the show, but let's have another look at the work of Thomas Kinkade. Oh, aren't they just stunning? Have you chosen your favourite yet? Do you know which one you're going to purchase? Have you already purchased and checked your basket out? You need to be doing that, of course. We've only got the 1 hour today. Now, we're just going to have a little bit of a recap as well, because this particular bundle, well, I'm saying bundle, it's not a bundle, this particular print has been very, very busy as well. We're actually at limited stock on this one as well. This is your Make a Wish. Now, this has been busy from the start, Pat. Why do you think this one in particular, again, is so popular?
Well, it's just, again, classic Kinkade in terms of the cottage. When you look at that piece and you see the reflections of light off of the pathway, it just absolutely is magic. But again, it's the idea of the little wishing well. And again, the idea, anybody who has any dream can look at this painting and think that they might have it access through the magic of the wishing well. Tom wanted that for his daughter, and I want it for all the collectors out there who enjoy his work.
Oh, look, just look at it. It's incredible. It really is. The light coming from the windows and reflecting onto the path there. It is as though we've just had quite a heavy shower, I would say, there. And it looks, just the gleam there on the paving stones is incredible.
I also like the mist coming through the background. If you look straight through that again will draw that piece into a magic dimension. It really, really will. The details on here are really profound. I love the rope. Even individual strands of the rope are put on this particular piece. And all of those magnificent florals. I love gardens myself. I really do. And again, seasons change, and sometimes the garden's not in the best shape, but with this, it's magic. You got Mother's Day coming, Valentine's. If you just want to give your sweetheart something special, I mean, you can give her a nice bouquet of flowers, and that's nice, and eventually the flowers die. But with this, she'll hang it on the wall, or he'll hang it on the wall, and every time they see it, not only will they smile because of the message of the piece, but they'll smile because they'll think of you.
Yes.
They really will.
Oh, I've got an update actually. We've just technically sold out of this particular one. That means all stock is allocated in baskets. You need to check those baskets out. Of course, if you leave something in a basket for too long, it could bounce back. I have a feeling nothing's going to bounce back in this show, but if they do, we will let you know, of course. You will be getting that certificate as well, of course. Now, another one to remind you of is the Stepping Stone Cottage. This includes that beautiful frame as well. Limited stock. We're literally just hanging on to this one. Paul Morgan, very lucky chap. He's won this one, but for the rest of you, yes, it is gorgeous.
A profound piece. Important in terms of message and in terms of aesthetic.
Definitely. But everybody's lucky. Look at the saving on this one as well, and that flexi-buy option as well. We're literally just hanging on to this one. This is the only hour we've got with these beautiful prints here today, so do take advantage.
I thought you were going to say beautiful.
Oh, and of course, Pat as well.
I feel left out. What about me?
Joe, you are absolutely fascinating. I've got to say
I'm
that.
easy to cast aside. I don't care.
I've got 2 more questions to ask before the end of the show.
That scares me.
We've got about 4 minutes left. We've got an email in as well, so I think we ought to go to that actually. Now, Denise has emailed in, and Denise has gone for this particular one, so a peaceful retreat.
Beautiful piece.
Now she's got a question as well, Pat.
Denise, I'm your Kinkade for the day. What can I do for you?
Now then, she loves Stepping Stone Cottage. Is it possible at any point, do you think, that we could see that on a canvas without the frame?
Absolutely. Again, it's just a matter of talking with the folks at Thomas Kinkade Company, and they'll make it possible. All things are possible. And we love collectors to have needs that we can meet. So talk to the folks here. They'll talk to the folks at TK, and hopefully next time I'm here, I'll bring it along, and it'll be there for you to enjoy.
I'm so pleased you just used that phrase. The next time I'm here, I'm going to hold you to that.
Oh boy.
I'm going to hold you to that. We don't want this to be a 1 hour only do. We want to see much more of Pat and, of course, of Thomas Kinkade as well.
I'm going to invade. I'm invading the UK. I'm American, so I'm big and loud. You'll know I'm here, no matter where you are in the country.
We've got another limited stock. It's this one, a peaceful retreat. So Denise, well done and getting
Beautiful
this one
piece.
as well. Holding on to this one for now, but we'll give you an update before the end of the show if we need to, of course. So if you love this one, if
Husbands
this is the
are
one
going
for
to love
you,
this one.
I think so.
Really,
yeah,
really.
I think so. What a great price as well. 2 payments of £30, 807-564. Now, there are 2 questions I really want to get in, Pat.
You said you worked. Oh, no, okay. That was Denise's question. I was only going to give you 2, but okay, I'll go 3.
Well, the first one, very important.
I get paid by the question. No.
We've got 2 minutes left. That gives me a minute per question.
All
Actually, I only need seconds for the last one. Talking about the light, talking about the materials used, the mediums used, the paint that's been used on the canvas. It's not a case of just going in with your different colours.
No, it isn't.
You've got that light there.
No.
There's a certain way that light is
Tom
created.
was a master in oil. It's about juxtaposing colors, putting certain colors up against each other, and it's about layering oil on top of each other. That layering causes a saturation point in terms of visible light, and it takes out certain, this gets into physics, but it takes out certain frequency, and that's what causes it. There's no gimmick in it. It's not fluorescent paint. It's nothing silly like that. It's just my brother was a living master.
So was it all, for something like this, all layers of oil, or is there any other paints in there? Is there an acrylic base or anything like that?
He painted in oil primarily. Occasionally he would use acrylic if he needed. I mean, the big difference there for him was just about how quickly it would dry. Yeah. So he would use acrylic sometime as well. But primarily he was an oil painter. In terms of the studio work that people know, it's oil.
See, I said I'd got 2 questions, so I just thought of loads more. Can I ask, I just find this intriguing, we've only got a minute left, so I'm going to have to get this in quick. What was the finest brush that Thomas would use for painting? You know,
that's an interesting question too. I've seen the originals. I work with the originals all the time, and there's this one painting called Lamplight Village. And Lamplight Village is just this beautiful scene of all of these houses, and you see cats on the roofs and people walking up and down the streets and so on and so forth, and just, wow, what a magnificent painting. Well, usually when you have that kind of painting, that kind of detail, you're painting at a huge size, almost the size of the wall here. When I saw the original, it's about this, it's about 3 by 3. I still to this day do not know how he pulled it off. It's like he's pulling individual arm hairs out and using them as but he did that sort of stuff just to amuse himself. I said it before, being an artist is relatively lonely. You're in studio, in your own head for a lot.
Do you know, we've literally got seconds left. We really have. And I've got so many questions. You've got to come back, Pat, and please make me presenter again for next time, because I've got so many questions I need to ask now. I need to go back and look at the details about Thomas himself as well.
Does that mean we're going away?
We are going in a second. Pat, just say yarn balls for me.
So